Hi, guys. This is Jean Holden, producer of the show. And I just wanted to take a minute to let you know where you can find us on the internet. Please go to ThatMan on Fatman.com. There you can find out all the things you need to know about the show. You'll be able to find links to the podcast, to YouTube, to Twitter, Facebook, even Instagram and Snapchat. Thank you so much for listening, guys, and we hope you enjoy the show.
Today's show is brought to you by Death Wish Coffee. Death Wish Coffee, the strongest coffee in the world.
This is Kevin Conroy, the voice of Batman, and I want to urge you to make a generous donation to the Wayne Foundation so we can stop the sexual trafficking of children. Do it, or I'll find you.
And don't forget to check out our good friend of the show, Mark Live, over at chundertunes.com for all your podcast animation needs. ThatMan on Fatman is recorded with a Zoom H6 handy recorder. Zoom for creators.
Disclaimer. The show you're about to experience is for entertainment purposes only. The hosts use mature language and conversation just like in most of life. If you're too uptight, this might not be for you. All that said, we really do hope you enjoy the show. But if you don't enjoy it, expect a nice big shipment of my joyous Joker juice on your doorstep in the very near future. Toodles!
Yes, please note that use of all sound effects is done ironically.
Ooh-ah. You are listening to ThatMan on Fatman with Scott and Jean Holden, and they, trust me, have a great ass.
The second Y is sent in by
ThatMan on Fatman.
Oh, right on. Scott Holden.
Scott Holden, yep.
And what does Scott want?
Call me Scott because I'm Holden.
As the world's biggest Kevin Smith fan, I appreciate the fact that somebody finally made a podcast about that interesting motherfucker. So, yes, you absolutely did the right thing.
Okay, what has two thumbs and is a huge fan of Kevin Smith? ThatMan!
Scott, who does ThatMan on Fatman podcast.
Yeah.
Ooh-ah.
Well, once upon a time, just a regular man read a book written by the Fat Man. Tough shit written by old Kev Smith.
Ooh-ah. ThatMan on Fatman.
Kev said go out and start a podcast, and so I did, and I had a real blast. But my obsession was driving my co-host nuts.
Who is he? He's that man. He's talking.
Didn't want to bring the podcast down. Needed Porkchop Murphy to hang around.
Go get him, that man.
So I created a show with one heck of a plan, and I call that show ThatMan on Fatman.
ThatMan on Fatman.
Go get him, that man.
We're gonna talk about Kevin Smith.
ThatMan on Fatman. ThatMan on Fatman.
Go get him, that man.
We're gonna talk about Kevin Smith.
Go get him, that man.
Hey, everybody, welcome to this episode 32, our second episode of the year 2018. We're rapidly heading towards our next season with our date being February 17th is sort of like the last date of this season. With me in the studio as I babble on is none other than co-host extraordinaire and producer Gene Holden.
Hi, guys. Hi, guys.
Ooh, that was...
My voice was changing.
Yes. Ooh.
Sounded like two different people for me.
Yes.
How are you?
I'm good. So, with the new year comes some, finally we're putting those show changes into action.
Mm-hmm.
We have an actual Smedline segment with an actual new Smedlines person.
Mm-hmm. Which is a different name.
Yes, she even said Askew News. I was
That's
like,
different.
oh, she's throwing a new name in here, so we'll have to get Smedline's Askew News.
Well, or just Askew News.
I guess. Do we
Yeah,
have to change
you like
the whole...
the Smedlines.
Yeah, I mean, that's even like we have a Smedlines website. If you went to smedlines.com, it would reroute you here.
Okay, so it's Smedlines
at one point. But you know, hey, we can.
Yeah, but it's a few
her take is Askew News, so that's fine.
I like it.
It's a conjunction.
Yes,
I say it's a joining of. We probably should have talked about it with her. Duh.
A joining of forces. Yeah, we didn't talk about it with her, which is kind of weird. Now we're talking about it without her, but that's all right. Danny.
Wow, our first show of the new year, and we're going down like our second show of the new year. We're already sinking. We're sinking like a fucking stone. Oy. Well, before we get into the Smedlines and get into that segment, just some things that I wonder what the hell that was. Something just dropped somewhere.
I think it was the cat trying to get in the closet. That's his
okay. Well,
extra space.
I don't know if you guys heard that thump. I sure did. A couple things. One, wow, shout out. We sold our first sticker online. Yay! And if you want to, you can check out and get a ThatMan on Fatman sticker yourself over at, you go to Etsy. We're on Etsy. So Etsy.com/ThatMan on Fatman will take you there.
Right.
There'll be a link on the website. There isn't one now, but there will be shortly. It's one of those, I have to get to do it, and I still haven't, but yes. So at some point, you'll be able to get a sticker via ThatManOnFatman.com, following a link from there. But we sold our first sticker. Thank you very much.
And that will be going out soon.
Yes, it's going out. We're supposed to go out yesterday, but
it did not go out yesterday.
So it's going out Monday.
Yes.
Yay! But so congratulations to us. And,
yes.
Thank you to that person. You know who you are.
Yes.
I don't know if it's okay to say their name or whatever. So
no, we'll just keep it. Yeah. We'll just keep it.
Also, we're just enjoying. There's a new Fatman on Batman that dropped.
Yeah.
At, of course, where was it recorded? It was recorded at the Scum and Villainy Cantina
on Hollywood Boulevard.
Really cool place. Which is also a nice segue to say that finally, at long last, we've been teasing this thing for months, but we actually re-recorded our interview with Mr. J.C. Reifenberg. That's right, the brain trust of Scum and Villainy Cantina, the place where they record such shows as Fatman on Batman and soon to be Edumacation. So
yes, and some others that sound awesome that we'll be talking about soon.
Yeah, so that will be that's our guest today on the show. So after the Smedlines, stick around for that too. But yeah, I was watching the latest, and someone asked about the Mark Bernardin sort of origin story.
Yeah, with Kevin and stuff.
Yeah, and during it, they were talking about the utility belt.
Uh-huh.
And I was thinking, that was mine, bitch!
Well, because they asked people to send in ideas.
They wanted a name for the segment that they would call any kind of just their news stuff.
Yeah,
the
just Batman
their geek
news
stuff.
Or I guess just geek
because
news.
It was out because they wanted to start reaching beyond just...
Right.
So...
That's a great name.
I was the one who sent in utility belt. I know that for a fact, and I know that was the one Mark liked. And... that became the name.
Yours.
And then, like, they mentioned it again, and they're like, he's like a big, fat, loaded utility belt.
Bloated or something like that.
Like a bloated leather bag. You have to beat and whip it into submission.
Oh, my God.
Oh. Speaking of beating and whipping, you got to check out last night's Saturday Night Live cold open.
Oh, my God.
Bill Murray makes a return to Saturday Night Live as Steve Bannon.
He's good.
And it's also what's-her-name does such an amazing...
Oh, my God. Kate McKinnon.
Does such an amazing Mika Brzezinski. She has that woman's number.
Mika...
so
if
fucking
you watch
neurotic.
Morning Joe, you can tell Mika is very,
neurotic.
Yeah, and she's very into herself.
Yeah,
But tries not to be. It's just hysterical.
Yeah, and Kate
McKinnon's got her number.
Oh, my
God. She studies that show.
So brilliant cold opening last night.
Good job.
Shout out to Saturday
and
Night Live.
Oprah, hell yeah.
Boy, that woman's hoping that Oprah runs.
Oh, my God. Hopra. It's Hopra, bitches.
Okay. I mean, I don't mind. I would That would be hilarious. I would love to see that.
I know there's people that hate it.
I know, and I don't get it.
I mean, what's the difference, really? She's just a better person. He's
exactly.
Celebrity, or tries to be.
She's celebrity.
She is a celebrity.
And she has a heart, and she's going to try and at least try and do the right things by people.
Yeah, she is the things he says he is.
Which is what presidents are supposed to do.
Right.
So I heard someone in the news essentially declare that, the proper word for Trump is not crazy. It's not he's just evil. He's just evil.
Is.
He's selfish, self-centered, and evil.
Oh, my God.
He puts his own needs above everything.
I know.
So
almost by saying he has a mental illness, it's giving him an out.
I'm sure he has a personality disorder. I'm
Yeah.
sure he's narcissistic.
Right.
He's, probably, what do you call it? A sociopath.
Yeah, and he just has people...
incapable of caring for the feelings of others.
And he has people around him that just feed it, and they're just like, the emperor wears
Or as the guy who actually defined the psychotic personality type in the book said, he may just be an asshole.
I
and a
know,
jerk.
that too.
And it doesn't matter, if
he's
he's
just a
crazy
dick.
or not. He's just someone who's unlikable and, a failed person.
Ugh. It's horrible, isn't it? That's what you've become.
Yeah. I like that.
And
I read Fire and Fury. I sucked it right down. Hey, audible.com, go over there. You can use that as your...
check it out.
Go over to audibletrials.com/ThatMan on Fatman, and you can use that as your free book. If you sign up for Audible, you can get Fire and Fury.
Yeah, and it's an easy listen.
Oh, it really is. It's essentially, it is like a lot of Bannon's inside thoughts and a lot of it is from his perspective.
Right.
You can tell that the writer basically, he had the writer's ear. So, so anyway, check it out. It's a good, fast read. Plus, I just found it entertaining. I was talking to somebody who I know can't stand Trump, and they're like, I don't want to read that. I'm like, you should. It's a lot. It's very enjoyable.
Yeah.
You'll get a kick out of it. So I guess a good time now we can, it's a whole new world for us. We have a Smedline segment. Yep. So I guess without further ado, here comes the first new Smedlines of 2018.
That Man on Fatman presents the Smedlines with Askew News reporter Danielle Ryan.
Hey guys, I am here with your Askew News, and our first piece this week is real fun. IMDb is launching a weekly show, and Kevin Smitth is going to be helping to make the show. So I'm really, really excited. He's producing it, and it's going to just be like a little weekly IMDb movie show about just like what's going on in cinema that week.
Now, I saw Kevin tweeted about that, and I was like, wow, that was out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And his reaction was very humble, like, I'm glad to be a part of it. So,
right. But he sounds like he's a big part of it. Like
he's helped running the show.
Running it.
Yeah.
Is it a guest? Is it like a guest show?
Yes.
Or so he's going to have guests. It's an interview show.
It's the IMDb Comic-Con thing he was doing on the boat.
Okay, so he's going to be interviewing people just like that.
Pretty much.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah, it's Tim Cash is going to be the host. He was formerly on MTV News.
Oh my God, yes.
And then Carrie Doherty, she was a writer for the Goldbergs. The two of them are going to be the hosts, and then and then Kevin's going to be a contributor and also executive producer, sort of like showrunner kind of thing, I think.
Wow, which is something he's been talking about wanting to get into.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
Yeah, he's in an interview with TheWrap.com. He said, when the IMDb team asked me to get on board, I instantly said yes, because you can never have too many credits from IMDb on your IMDb page.
Very true. Very true.
Now he has like an unlimited supply.
Yes. Now he's, and
That's
I believe
adorable.
Here's another good connection. IMDb, I'm pretty sure, is either owned by. I'm pretty sure it's in the Amazon wing.
Okay.
Under the Amazon umbrella.
I think it is.
Yeah, I think you're right. I wouldn't be surprised. Do you know that he's the wealthiest man?
Another good connection to have, Amazon.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, eventually we're not going to have countries anymore. We'll just be like the state of Google and the state of Amazon.
And Netflix.
The president of Amazon is wealthier than Bill Gates.
I believe it.
Yeah. So he's
I
like
believe it.
yeah.
Well, Bill Gates has been giving away a lot of his money. He's a
Yeah, I
philanthropist.
mean, but you know the amount Bill Gates is very wealthy, but this guy's apparently
Nobody's wealthier than me, Donald J. Trump.
Oh,
I have the biggest. I am the master. I have the nicest shitholes that you can buy.
The only shithole here is him.
I know, right?
True. Yes, shithole presidency.
All right.
Woo!
Well, let's get to...
All right. But back to Kevin Smith. Woo!
Sorry about that.
Speaking of non-shitholes,
I know, right?
yeah, but he'll be doing the IMDb show, and it'll be really cool. There's going to be the IMDb Brief, which is going to be little segments that use all the data and info from IMDb, because, they
like
do
that.
have, they are the Internet Movie Database.
Yes.
So
Yes.
let's use that data, so that'll be kind of cool.
Oh, I
and
like
then
that.
they're doing on-location segments where
That's
they'll
why the
actually be
B
on
is
location
small.
with industry insiders, getting all kinds of behind-the-scenes stuff. And then they'll do a celebrity guest each episode and have them on there and do interviews and that kind of thing. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to kind of just be a neat little thing from IMDb, who are the go-to source for, if you need real movie information, they're the go-to. So I'm curious to see what they do, and with Kevin at the helm, I'm sure it'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Excited.
Harumph.
Good luck.
Okay, now quickly, database. Now that's why the B is small in the IMDb, because database is one word. Now I would like to know who is the committee upon which we conjunctify words like cannot and database, and where do we go to get these words finally said? Yes, these are together.
Well, you
I
just have
don't
to
know.
Because I saw should shithole now be a conjoined word? I
think it is. I think it is.
It is definitely.
Is it? I thought it was hyphenated. I've seen hyphenated spellings.
Yeah, but that happens
I didn't
sometimes.
know that we're all
Sometimes
together
people
on
do that.
shithole.
I've seen people
we are
do
now
that.
all together, no hyphen.
No hyphen. Okay.
It should be all together because it's
again. Now, who made this
shithole
decision?
is one big thing.
Yes.
I'm sorry, I'm laughing.
And it's
really
orange too.
As somebody with an English degree, you'd think there should be a hyphen there, because otherwise you'd pronounce it shithole.
Yeah,
But,
exactly.
See, but I feel like shithole, it's such a great one word. It's 8 letters. It just goes together.
It really does.
And it describes the year so far. We're 13 days in, and shithole.
All I know is, the one thing I will say is, as someone who's been, ADD and a bad speller all his life, it is so much fun to watch, a White House fuck up things like Normay and things like that.
Oh my God, right? No.
It's like, wow, they're all at my level now.
I think the W is upside down.
You think?
Yeah.
I think you did that wrong. That's scary.
All right, so you have another story for us?
Yeah, so speaking of scary, the other project Kevin was working on right now is a horror movie. So, hey, it's a horror anthology. He released his first set photos and just all kinds of good little bits of info on his next project, which is called Kilroy.
Was here.
Yeah, Kilroy was here.
Yes.
Now
that's an old drawing that I know a little bit about this. They went back. Kilroy was here as that drawing with the nose over the wall.
Yeah.
And the two hands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they did one of those things where they had written it was originally sort of about Krampus, a Krampus Christmas horror anthology thing. And he did this with McElfresh, Andrew McElfresh.
Right.
And along the way, they had problems with the name Krampus. There was probably 15 other Krampus movies firing up.
Yeah.
One was one was actually about to be released. So they kind of put it on the drawer, and then they started rethinking it. And Kevin was thinking about that Kilroy was here symbol one day, and went and found out that no one had ever trademarked it.
Oh my God, really?
Yeah, so they did.
Who did? Kevin?
He and Andy.
Oh my God, no one
Smart.
trademarked that?
Yeah,
Because
so-
I remember that.
Yeah. And so
Oh my God.
Kilroy was here became their
Wow.
intellectual property,
Good for
and
them.
they started on this horror anthology.
That's awesome.
And they hooked up with a college down. It's kind of goofy. You could kind of call it the former Ringling Brothers Clown College.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's out of out of a part of Florida where they were Ringling, had established himself, like where he's from, and at one point was the richest man in the world, and that kind of thing. And but it still has that Ringling heritage, and that's why the name of the school that they're doing it out of is that Ringling College out of Florida. So, which is a movie making school. So, and I think there's even a SModcast up on it. Is there?
What? There's a what?
I think this week's SModcast is about it.
Oh.
I haven't heard it yet.
Okay.
I just kind of read the credit.
Oh.
Wow, I'm way ahead of the news.
I know. Well, now we have to have Danny.
Okay, yeah.
We have to get Danny to finish.
I'm sorry. Did I miss any details?
You missed that his daughter's going to be in it, and Jay Muse is going to be in it.
Cool.
Yes.
And that it's an anthology series, so it'll be lots of short stories, kind of all mixed together.
I believe his wife is directing one of them.
Oh, really?
Ooh.
Yeah.
Go, Jen.
Yes.
I would love to see that.
Me too.
He's directing one. Jen's directing one. I think 4 people are directing. Andy might be directing one.
Okay. Is Harley directing one?
I don't know, but I think she's in it for sure.
Oh, yeah, I know she's in it, yeah. That would be cool if she could direct one.
Yeah, I think there's 4 directors, but maybe it's 3, I don't know.
Yeah, but it's going to be cool, and the Kilroy factor is that he's actually going to be sort of like the monster. He's got a long, melted face, and that's why his nose looks like that, is because his nose melted.
I bet you I know who designed him.
Who do you think?
What's his name? Fuck. The guy who was on our show.
Who?
What's his name? The horror guy. The guy
Robert
who did Tusk.
Kurtzman?
Robert Kurtzman, thank you.
Probably.
Yeah, because he did Tusk and he did
oh my God, he's
he
so
did
amazing.
Yoga
The
Hosers.
things he does.
Walrus Monster.
Yeah.
Yes.
We have a great story we'll tell you off the air sometime about him. It ties into our son and all kinds of weirdness that happened.
And Walrus Monsters. So
Weirdness and coolness at the same time.
Yeah. Anything else?
No, that is pretty much it. He's doing Kilroy. There's not a whole lot of info out besides what we already know, and I think the SModcast this week is going to be on the Ringling School and his involvement down there in Sarasota. So that'll be cool. We'll get some more info on that, and hopefully we'll just find out more. I personally love horror anthologies, so I'm super excited. Anytime we get a horror anthology, I'm stoked, whether it's ABCs of Death or XX or now Kilroy was here.
It's funny. Great. It's like binging behavior sort of brought back things like anthology horror series, also like Twilight Zone type shows.
Yeah.
I guess anthology series.
Right.
Yeah, anthology series. Yeah, like Black Mirror.
Yeah. They're all sort of back because you can binge something and, with a common theme, but each episode is totally different.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I have
there's
to see,
Channel Zero.
Which
and
one?
And then Channel Zero is another one. There's the one with, I think Channel Zero is the one with Patton Oswalt. There's one with Patton Oswalt that's really good, and then there's another anthology series that's just coming out. It's Philip K. Dick's Electric Dreams.
Oh, okay.
And it's going to be all different Philip K. Dick stories. So
oh my God, that's going to be so good.
Yeah, and HBO is doing one about a hotel room. I think it's room 106 or room something like that.
And what's that like?
Well, each week, I guess, a different person stays in the hotel, so you'll get a different kind of. I haven't seen it. It's already a few episodes have dropped, so.
Yeah, it's so easy for me to get sucked into shit like that, and then I'm like glued to the TV.
Did you check it? Did you do Westworld?
Westworld is one of my favorite shows ever.
Me too.
Oh my God, Scott was like obsessed with it.
Yeah, it was so amazing because it was great. I watched that, and whoever I would watch it with, like after the episode, we would just launch into discussions about like, well, what is the nature of life, and what is reality, and what is like all these really heavy discussions.
Yeah, I actually was working for a website when it came out, and I was doing the weekly recaps. So I would watch the episode and then immediately sit down and write like 1,500, 2,000 words on Westworld and all my thoughts and what it meant and all that. And I pulled out all the stops, all the things I learned in academia about assessing themes and all the crazy shit in it. I was like, oh my God, they're talking about Freud. They're talking about the Bible. They're talking about this. They're talking about that. And I was I felt smart for 10 minutes. It was beautiful.
They even left it like it would have been satisfying even if they said, this is all we're doing.
Oh,
you know
yeah.
what I mean?
If it
like
had ended
Yeah, if that was it, you'd be like, wow, that's really cool. I mean, it just leaves you in such a way that you want more, but it would be okay if there wasn't more.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like, wow,
It's
everything
coming
went
back, though.
fucked up.
Yeah, and I'm so excited because I've read a bunch of stuff and they said that season 1 was order and season 2 is going to be chaos.
Yeah.
So I'm like, yeah, kill bots. Like,
Yeah.
killer robots are my favorite thing ever.
And if you ever saw the original that it was based on, which is a much slower, affair,
Yeah.
they are going to be bringing in some of those other worlds this year.
Yeah. I know. At the end of season 1 when they had Samurai World and all
Yeah,
that,
yeah,
I was
yeah.
like, oh, are we going to get Future World or Medieval World?
Samurai World could tie in very nicely to a medieval world.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or a Renaissance world.
Yeah.
And there was an original, there was a Roman, there was a Knights, there was a West, and I think there was a Future.
I know there was a Future because there was a Future on the TV show.
Okay.
And then the sequel movie, which is terrible, is Future World. So
I don't even know I saw that.
yeah, it's Westworld and then Future World, and then they had a TV show that was called like Beyond Westworld or Beyond Future World or something like that. And in the TV show showed some of Medieval World and Future World. I want to say it's been a minute.
Yeah.
But I love the HBO series.
Yeah, the Westworld, the original movie, did show like Roman world and the other, but they just showed them like going crazy and everybody getting killed there. Like it was like, hey, let's flash into these worlds where everyone's killing each other.
Let's just show some more killer robots. It'll be awesome.
Yeah. Well, I hope you enjoyed your first segment on the news here, and we know we've enjoyed it.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes, it's been great, and I will always talk about killer robots. So hell yes.
All right, so what's going on your show? Speaking of going on other things.
Oh, yeah. This week on our show, we are doing... Oh, speaking of robots, this week we're doing Tetsuo, the Iron Man, which is the 1980s Japanese body horror film. And you can check that out on our podcast, Freaky Fandoms, and we'll be just talking about all things Tetsuo and body horror. And
is there a web address?
Crazy. Yes.
Is it freakyfandoms.com?
It is freakyfandomspodcast.com.
Okay. freakyfandomspodcast.com.
And that's weekly, and you can check it.
It's weekly.
Yes, you can find out more about our wonderful news person over there.
Yes.
Your news person who talks about crazy films on the side. So yeah, if you want to hear me, get really weird, come check out our show.
Yes. And we appreciate all you do for us, and
thank you so much
for this week's report.
This has been the Smedlines with Askew News reporter Danielle Ryan. Follow her on Twitter at Danny Rat.
And there you have our first news segment of 2018.
Oh, yeah, I like that.
Worth some applause. Woohoo!
That was well done.
Yes.
Prepared very nicely.
Yeah, I enjoyed talking to her.
Yeah, she's...
Miss Danny Rat. Go over at Danny Rat on
Cool gal.
The Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
And check out her podcast as well, Freaky Fandoms, at freakyfandomspodcast.com.
Yes, add the podcast part.
Yes. So... Now, I feel like we've been teasing this interview for months because we have. And the way it worked out originally is we did it and it was just one of those really bad sounding interviews. They were, because of Skype at the time, there were long gaps between questions and answers, which is always indicative of a bad connection. And, but when you listen to it, it sounds like he doesn't care. But it's not. It's all electronics. It's a big, long gap between every time someone talks.
Yeah.
So it just required a lot of editing. There's warbles and parts where he would drop out altogether, and Gene and I would be staring at each other going, what do we do?
Well, and it is Cali, and it could be like a weather thing or whatever it was.
Yeah.
But it was,
who knows?
Whatever it was.
It was bad connection. I think it has more to do with peak usage versus
that makes sense,
all
too.
those theories. But, versus long cable.
Yeah, but we did get a second chance, thank goodness.
So, yeah.
Came out.
After going after it, we finally got a second interview where we were able to redo the first one and finally welcome this gentleman to the show in the proper way.
Yes.
And I think we're going to have this person on a regular basis because he really enjoyed it and he seemed very in league with doing that.
Yeah.
So without any further ado, we want to welcome to the show the master of the place known as the Scum and Villainy Cantina on Hollywood Boulevard in Hollywood, California.
I know, right?
An intergalactic fan
Space Cantina
bar.
So cool.
So
right on Hollywood Boulevard.
Now, if you've been watching, the latest versions of Scum and Villainy and all that, Scum and Villainy of Fatman on Batman, you've seen it.
Yeah,
you get a good place. So it's where those shows are taking place.
It's
and you get to find out a little bit more about the guy behind the scenes who's been doing a lot more than just starting a bar.
Yeah.
So here we go, our segment with J.C. Reifenberg. I can say his name now too.
Finally.
And now, here's our guest.
All right, at this time, I'm so glad that we're able to sit down with this gentleman via Skype and talk about the place that everyone is now getting so familiar with. That's right, the Scum and Villainy Cantina, where Kevin and
LA
and Mr. Mark Bernardin and soon Andy McElfresh also will be joining the folks who have done shows at the Scum and Villainy Bar.
And
Here is the brainchild. Originally it was a pop-up. Now it's there for keeps.
Permanent.
Yes, Mr. JC. What's your last name?
How's it going?
Reifenberg.
Reifenberg. Thank you, sir.
J.C. Reifenberg.
There you go.
Reifenberg.
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 You're just the star.
A hearty German name.
That is German.
You're just the Star Wars Jesus Christ to me.
J.C. Reifenberg. Yeah. Sweetie, you had German food today.
I did.
Yeah. You had like bratwurst and stuff.
And kielbasa, which is Polish.
And kielbasa. Yeah, kielbasa.
Do we have to talk about this today?
No, he said German. And he said German, and I thought about that. Sorry.
There you go. So, sir, please tell us about, because you have a long kind of how you got to know Kevin. You're kind of like a fanboy dream, and how you got into start up Scum and Villainy as a pop-up bar, and what has happened since.
Oh, man, how much time do we have?
We got as much time as you need.
I'll try to give it it's a really, really fun, exciting story for me. Probably not so much for anybody who's listening to me talk about it. So I'll try to give the short version.
Yeah, on this fucking show, you'd be surprised. You know what I mean? Like this is you are going to be like people are going to be taking notes here.
Well, yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
Recipe for success.
Let's see. Well, let's take it back to 2010. I wrote a short Star Wars fan film called Hughes the Force that was a mix of John Hughes movies and Star Wars. So you can watch it. It's free on YouTube. It's on the old SIT YouTube page, Kevin's page.
Okay, yeah.
Free to watch. It's basically like if the two nerds in Weird Science and like all the John Hughes movies were Star Wars fans instead of just normal nerds. Like they were Star Wars nerds. And that was the premise of the movie. So basically the plot of Weird Science, as if they didn't use a Barbie doll to transform a toy into Kelly LeBrock, they used a Slave Leia action figure to transform her into a real life Princess Leia who, teaches them the ways of the Force and how to stand up for themselves and be yourself.
Adorable. Oh my God, I love that.
Yeah, it sounds adorable.
So, within that movie, I wrote a quick little role cameo as kind of like the mentor Yoda character for Kevin. And I didn't know Kevin at all at this point. I knew that that he had
a love for John Hughes because in Dogma, it's Jay and Silent Bob are trying to get to Shermer, Illinois, which is actually my hometown where I grew up.
Oh my gosh!
And so, you know, they always say,
I didn't think there was one.
And I was like, it's actually called Northbrook. It was called Shermer in the 1800s. So in his stories, John Hughes used the older name of Northbrook, which was Shermer. I live off of Shermer Road in Northbrook, Illinois.
Wow.
So it's right what you know. And
so is that really
geekdom?
If you don't mind me asking, is that really how they did detention there?
It is. It is.
They did it on Saturday?
They would do Saturday detentions.
Wow,
yeah.
that's
If it was really bad, like I got a Saturday detention once for, I don't know, cheating on a math quiz or something.
So which one of them were you?
I had to have a Saturday detention, and I sat there all Saturday with my football coach, and he just sat there and watched us and did graded papers. So it actually, that actually happened.
Oh my God!
So you were the football kid.
But it was funny because it was like my football coach. But yeah.
So
like
you're the jock.
Yeah, he was the jock.
You were the jock.
He was the jock in the Breakfast Club.
Yeah.
I was the jock who
Emilio
ended up on the
Estevez.
Rosie O'Donnell show on May 19, 1999 doing live Star Wars trivia in front of the world, and the jock who ended up on MTV TRL doing Star Wars trivia a few years later. So, you know, I wear both jackets very proudly.
Question, do you have any Star Trek cred?
No, I don't know anything about Star Trek.
Okay.
I really like Star Trek First Contact, but that's about it.
Okay. I've actually, since it's free now on Sony, I've been playing Star Trek Online. It feels more Star Wars than Star Trek, in honesty.
Well, it must be the J.J. Abrams version.
No, it's just that it's combat heavy. There's a lot of bad guys now.
It seems a little
Klingons, Borg, everybody's at you. Anyway, all right, so back to your story, sir. Sorry for interrupting.
So, anyway, so...
You had done that short film.
The story's getting longer and longer.
Yeah, you were going to... I approached Kevin, I guess.
But so I wanted Kevin to be in it because I was like, oh my God, it's Star Wars, it's nerddom, it's pop culture, and it's John Hughes. I was like, this is all the stuff Kevin's put in his movies. And in a roundabout way, I was fortunate enough to start following Kevin on Twitter and really being on top of it with some of the other guys I was making movies with. And he tweeted back in March of 2011, is anybody available with a Canon 5D camera who can show up to the John Lovitz Comedy Club tonight and film me doing my podcast? And I showed up with 3 cameras and shot the podcast for him. He picked me on Twitter. I showed up. I shot the podcast with 3 cameras instead of just one, and then I took it home and I put it into Avid.
I was gonna say, it's a pretty easy shoot. Yeah, it's like 2 guys sitting at a table. If you got 3 cameras, you could do a close up, a mid, and a long, a wide.
Yeah. So we did that, and I showed up at Jay and Jordan's house the next day to drop the footage off. I was like, I already put it into Avid and sunk all the cameras and everything for Kevin to edit. And Kevin took it for like 2 days and was like, why don't you guys just edit it? And why don't you come back next week and do Jay and Bob on Friday and Babylon on Saturday?
That's so cool.
I was like, okay. And so we did Jay and Bob on Friday and Babylon on Saturday. And the cool thing about that Jay and Bob show was it was the 1 year sober show for Jason Mewes.
Wow. Oh, that was a while ago.
Yeah, it was.
Whenever I'm talking about Jason and everybody's like, how long has he been sober? I was like, well, in March of 2011, he was 1 year sober. Okay. So in March of 2018, he'll be 8 years sober.
Yay!
That's so awesome.
So, so that was kind of how I got involved with Kevin. And then,
Scum and Villainy. How often did you, from that, like, did you start working with him regularly, or?
Yeah, I mean, we did all the podcasts for a while. We did the Pod Damn It podcast marathon. We did everything podcast for a while. And then, I did spoilers with him. I was cool. On Spoilers season 1, I was just kind of like there. Mm-hmm. But Spoilers season 2, I was the director of photography and the post-production supervisor.
Cool. I like that. And, that was fun.
That was a cute show, fun. Yes. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I liked it.
And I did, I did some creative work on...
we should go back and look at it again, by the way, because we know people now who are in the audience and shit that we didn't know the first time we saw it. Like Big Daddy Jimmy V and all those folks.
So I did some creative work on... my friend Andrew and I did a screenplay for where we invented the idea of the mini Hitlers.
Uh-huh.
Oh, wow.
And so then Kevin, if you listen to some of Kevin's stuff, he talks about how Andrew and I wrote this screenplay, and then Kevin licensed that character from us. So I was an executive producer on Yoga Hosers, and got to do some
we hear
fun
your car,
stuff
by
on
the
that.
way.
I know, sorry.
That's no problem.
We have to
we're just so glad you're taking the time for
I know,
it.
we really appreciate it. We know you're busy.
I have to tandem park at my bar because we're like right on Hollywood Boulevard.
Wow.
Yeah.
So sometimes I have to move the car to let people out. And now is one of those times. So you guys get to... This is more than just a interview on a podcast. This is like a life cast of what it's like to
Can
own
you
a
see
bar
all
in
the
Hollywood.
stars as you walk down Hollywood Boulevard?
Yeah, we have some nobody name person out front of our bar.
Oh.
Some who suffered in vain, I'm sure.
Kevin Bacon is pretty close to.
Kevin Bacon.
There you go.
Yes.
Kevin Bacon.
He's not far from our front door.
I bumped into Kevin Bacon once at the height of Kevin Bacon mania in New York City while I was a courier. I was walking down the street and literally Kevin Bacon was coming right at me and he's on the phone. And I'm like,
did he steal your cab like in Planes, Trains, and Automobiles?
No, but I did go, hey, Kevin Bacon, and he acknowledged me. He said, hey, back to me, and he kept walking. He was on his phone, but he wasn't a dick. I could say that. He actually he gave me 2 fingers up, the 2-finger wave, and was like, hey. Yeah, exactly. And he kept cruising. I kept going my way, and I was like, hey, Kevin Bacon.
He seems like a pretty cool kind of guy.
Yeah.
I think.
I'm like, I'm now one from Kevin Bacon.
I got a hey from Kevin Bacon.
Yeah. It was one of those surreal moments.
Yeah. He seems pretty cool.
Yeah.
All right, we were talking before you started parking. So you were Yoga Hosers. You were talking Yoga Hosers and becoming executive producer. You're basically
cool.
running down your bona fides. And then like you were doing the video show for when Kevin decided, hey, Fatman on Batman is going to go video.
Oh, is that what you did too?
Oh yeah, so we started doing Fatman on Batman on video, and he did it with like Defy Media for a little bit, and when that ended, I had taken like a little hiatus from doing the video podcast stuff, and then I came back in and joined up with them again to take over Fatman on Batman, which we did from a studio in North Hollywood, and then we did it from Kevin's living room, and now we're doing it from Scum and Villainy Cantina.
When we came to Hollywood, we stayed in North Hollywood at a Airbnb.
Yeah.
So,
it was crazy.
Yeah, so
yeah. For people who don't know anything about Southern California, North Hollywood is actually not by Hollywood, really. It's on the other side of like a big hill.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of porn
it's pretty
there,
cool.
though.
Yeah. There's a lot of what?
Porn there.
There's a lot of porn. Yeah.
Yeah, we have a friend there
not
who's
anymore.
into it.
All the porn's out in Chatsworth now, way deep in the valley. North Hollywood is kind of like the hip spot right now.
And Vegas too.
It's North Hollywood in the last 10 years since I moved here is a different world than it used to be.
Yeah.
It was cool.
But it's cool. Like Kevin lives, a couple blocks from the bar, so he's He can just, it's literally, I think, a 3 or 4 minute drive. It's probably a 15-minute walk for him to get down here.
Nice.
And it's kind of cool. He says it reminds him of what SModcast used to be like. We have like 60 to 75 people in here, and it's real intimate. And I'm sure if you've seen the YouTube, if you're listening to this podcast, I'm sure you've seen the YouTube show. They stand behind the bar and they just chit chat, and they get to react with the audience. And on the latest episode, which will go up now-ish, tonight, tomorrow, Kevin talks about how it's like a mini Hollywood Babylon here now. Like, he loves being able to do the Q&A with the audience and really hear from people. So it's not, the show isn't just generated by Kevin and Mark. The show is really generated by half of Kevin and Mark, and then the rest, the audience brings ideas and thoughts and things to it that
and they get presents too.
Yeah.
They get presents.
Give away a lot of movie tickets.
All right, so why don't we backtrack
really
a little
sweet.
and tell about how the bar came around?
So my girlfriend is a bar and restaurant designer, and and I am very tied into the world of geek, and we kind of Wonder Twin powers activated. Combined our powers in a Captain Planet-like way to create this bar.
Nice.
So, and
you
again,
combined your talents.
And originally it was a pop-up bar. Now, I think that's sort of the way retail is going in many respects, like nowadays, because brick and mortar is just like crazy with the internet, and it seems like the only way you can make things work is like, let's hit here, let's make it an event. Let's make shopping an event. Let's make this an event. Let's make that an event. So you kind of said, oh, well, I see that. Let's make the Star Wars thing an event.
Well, you know what it is the way that we did it is well, first off, I have to correct you. It's not a Star Wars bar.
I apologize.
Intergalactic
I
Space
apologize.
Cantina. All fandoms welcome.
Thank you.
But really what in a world where if you are into sports at all, or if you pay attention to the news, the NFL ratings are way down, right? And you can blame it on not standing for the national anthem. You can blame it on different things.
It's all the kneeling. All you people, I can't take it. Sorry, I did it.
But realistically, it could just be that football has kind of reached its pinnacle a couple years ago and is at a saturation point. And, you see it in ESPN also.
And it's actually hazardous to the player's health.
Right, but it's not just football. Sports in general is failing, right? Not failing, but they're not doing what they used to. ESPN is subsidized by Disney properties that are actually making money. ESPN loses money. So you look at a world where there's a sports bar in every town in the world, or 7 sports bars in every town in the world. And sports are doing worse now than they have in the last 10 years or so. So what has taken its place? Well, geekdom.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Every geeky movie. Look, Justice League failed and it made close to $1 billion.
Oh, yeah, it made
That's
money.
a failing geek movie. So let me ask you, when you want to go and watch, you guys are from New Jersey, right? So you want to go watch the New York Jets or the New York Giants, you go to a sports bar. And you walk into that sports bar.
You are talking to the wrong people.
Yeah.
But
that's where we would
never
go.
Been.
Yeah,
never
but
been, never will. We're just
people
not
in a sports bar. When you walk into a sports bar, the point I'm trying to make is when you walk into a sports bar, you walk in and you're wearing a costume.
Yes.
And you sit with people that wear a similar costume.
Yes.
And
you're wearing your jerseys, your
quote,
goofy outfits.
And you quote trivia.
Right.
Right?
Hey, it's
now,
even gone so far as I've
sports
seen
fans don't call
people with inflatable, like the thing you put on your for Christmas ornaments, inflatable figures. they've got them for their football guys.
Oh, yeah.
And
They
they
have
put
the
them
big
up
guy up on
for
the
their
yard.
Yeah, and it's nuts. So, yeah, I get it.
So, right. So, in football, it's not called a costume. It's called a jersey or athletic apparel. And it's not called trivia. It's called statistics.
Yeah.
But it's really the same thing.
Yes.
Now, you guys went out and you saw Star Wars. You guys are going to go out and see Black Panther. Where do you guys go after you see a movie that's really exciting for you? What do you guys do in New Jersey?
Well,
you go home.
We usually come home,
Facebook, and you talk about it on Facebook.
Probably, yes.
Yeah, or something.
Right,
like that.
or you do a podcast, or
something. Yeah.
There's no place. There's no place for you guys to go, sit down next to a real human being, who and make eye contact with them and say, you don't have to say, "Did you see Black Panther?" Everyone has seen Black Panther, and everybody here wants to talk about it. So we are. A comic book shop that sells alcohol instead of comic books.
But it's funny because you almost can't do that in comic book shops because they almost scold you.
Scold you for what?
For talking too much.
We are a sports bar that caters to geeky things, not sports.
Yeah.
And that's really where I want to be. Is I want to build a community around geekdom. Build it as a community meeting spot. When something cool and geeky happens, this is where people go, which is why I love the idea of having Fatman on Batman here, because this isn't
so cool
for Star Wars fans. It's for fans of geekdom.
Yeah.
Like that's what this place is about.
Yes.
It is an immersive environment. It's an environment where you walk in and you are surrounded by, you walk into a sports bar and there's 4 million TVs. We're the opposite.
Everywhere.
You walk in here and there are no TVs and there's no windows to the outside world. It's like, if you guys have read Ready Player One, it's like, this is H's hideout, like the secret meeting room, where everybody gets together. And it's totally like, you don't have to think about politically what's going on. You don't have to think about all of this BS. You are literally in here to be a geek, to celebrate the things that you used to only be able to celebrate with your best friend. So
I'm pulling up in my DeLorean and I'm
basement.
yelling yubba yubba dub dub.
I can't wait to come.
That's really what this is about. And, we're about to announce a ton of amazing events in February around Black Panther. A ton of stuff in March for Ready Player One. April is going to be all about Infinity War.
Now,
May, of course, Han Solo.
Now, do you think it's controversial?
And Deadpool. Ant-Man and Wasp and all sorts of stuff.
Oh, cool.
Do you think it's controversial that Black Panther is getting the shortest month of the year as its release month?
It's Black History Month.
I know. I'm kidding.
It's only 2
That's a related joke.
Yeah,
see what I did there? I twisted it just a little.
But that's been said about Black History Month.
Exactly.
Why it's like the shortest month of the year.
See, if you got to explain it, it wasn't
very
funny.
obvious. I like to explain things to people. I like to do my part.
And you are adorable, sweetie.
Thank you.
So, all right. So it came as you and your did you say wife or girlfriend? I'm sorry.
My girlfriend, yeah.
Okay, you and your girlfriend said you wanted Twin Powers. You love Star Wars. She's a bar restaurateur. You guys started this thing as a pop-up, but lo and behold, it had enough of a crowd, a following, people that wanted to come and throw money at you. And with stuff like cereal drinks and stuff, why wouldn't you?
The
breakfast cereal
those sound
drinks.
amazing.
And you know what else I love? Like when Kevin, there was one episode where Kevin, I'm going to turn off the bubble machine or whatever it is.
That was so
because
good.
it was making too much noise. Oh, I just stepped on the stepped on the reverb there for a second.
That was cool.
Sorry.
I love watching.
We
them
went
there.
down to the basement for a moment with
I
the
love
reverb.
watching them there.
Yes,
I
do too.
Yeah,
so,
I'd like to come.
The McElfresh show is coming up soon too, isn't it? The 16th, I believe.
Yeah. So we got. It's going to be a big month here at Scum and Villainy. We've got we had the first Fatman on Batman of 2018 last week.
Which I still need to listen to. It's in my queue, or watch, sorry.
We've got Andy and Kevin on Monday doing Education. Woohoo! On Tuesday, we've got another Fatman on Batman episode.
Oh.
And then on the 21st, which is a Sunday, we have Ming, Mike, and Brian Johnson doing Comic Book Men, Nasty as They Want to Be. So it's kind of like a behind-the-scenes look at like what happens in Comic Book Men when they turn the cameras off.
Cool. Nice.
So that should be pretty rad. Should be pretty cool.
Will that be video or just audio?
I mean, I think I'm just going to tape everything, right? Like, because I put stuff up on YouTube for them. It's stupid for me not to, not to get more content, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yes,
Good for
generate.
That's that's
so.
All that sounds.
So
great.
yeah, it should be a pretty cool month for Fatman on Batman. Then we're going to take a little break, I think, for a few weeks while Kevin goes off and creates his other world of filmmaking.
Is that when Jay and Silent Bob Strike reboot starts?
No, I wish.
Probably Kilroy.
He's doing some more
Kilroy's
CW
knee-deep.
stuff, I think.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. He's got all kinds of shit going on now too. He just announced the IMDb show too.
Oh, I don't even know what that is. You guys are ahead of me.
Oh yeah. It just announced like this morning. Basically, you know the IMDb thing that he does during the Comic-Con. Like he interviews people. Well, they're going to do it they're turning it into a weekly show. Yeah, and he's involved. And he said, he was like, thank you to IMDb for letting me be involved.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Wow, so Flash. Check with the boss when you see him next. Say, hey, boss, what's up with IMDb, yo?
How do I get in on some of that?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Oh, my gosh. Sure.
Always more work to do. I wish I was in LA right now.
Cool.
There'd be more to do.
It's also a lot warmer here today, I bet, than it is in New Jersey.
Yeah.
Well, although it got really weirdly
Actually, today was like
warm
60.
here.
It was weird.
Yeah, but it's rainy as
But
fuck.
like 2 days ago, it was like 15.
Yeah, so...
It was so weird.
Yeah, no thanks.
Why is it so balmy?
We recently had this thing called the cyclone bomb, which made like the temperature.
Bomb?
Yes, that's what it's called. A weather.
You know, like some sort of like detergent.
You know what those
or
used
something?
to be called when I was little?
What?
It used to be called like a snowstorm or like a cold front.
Well,
now
yeah.
A cyclone.
Well, that's what it is. Well, it really is a cold front, but it's like a massive cold front.
Oh, well, I mean,
it's
like
a cold
really,
front
though,
that like fucking
cyclone
like
bomb,
drops
it
shit
sounds-
really fast and makes it really
sounds
cold. Like people's pipes were freezing all over the place. On YouTube, everyone's like, "What do I do with my?" Or on Facebook, everyone's like, well, "How do I?" And like, "Hey, get a hair dryer. Get the hair dryer." Oh my god, genius! It's like all kinds of shit going on like that.
Oh my god!
But at least we don't have mudslides killing us, and
Yeah, in California.
we all have our problems.
Oh my god, that was happening in California.
I know, that was horrible. There's still people missing, if I recall.
God, it's
like
horrible. And seeing like the fires.
Now,
like,
how far
horrifying.
is that from you guys? How far were the fires
far
from
enough.
you?
Oh my god!
Because that felt like it was close.
The
they were
really bad ones. No. Where are you guys at in New Jersey?
We're in Morris County, which is like center of the north half.
Yeah, so
like
we're pretty
dead
much
center.
northern New Jersey.
Yeah, dead center northern New Jersey.
All right, so like these fires would have been in like Trenton.
Okay.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
okay.
when we,
So, like-
I see what you mean.
Close, but not like next door.
The big ones would have been in like Trenton. The little ones, the ones that they were able to like get control of, would have been closer to like Teaneck or Fair Lawn or one of those places. Are you impressed with my New Jersey town
I know.
knowledge?
Yes, very
Paramus.
good.
Okay.
There you go.
I was going to
I
say.
lived in Hoboken I lived
okay.
in Hoboken for 4 years. So.
Yeah, I remember saying.
I know.
I like Hoboken.
The first time we recorded this interview, I remember
Yes.
talking a little bit about it.
Yes.
All right, we want to take a moment to talk about Death Wish Coffee. That's right. Ladies and gentlemen, do yourself a favor and get over to deathwishcoffee.com. And there you can buy the strongest coffee known to man without a prescription.
The world's strongest coffee ever.
Yes, as proudly displayed on my wife's sweatshirt over there.
Yes, on my body,
Yes.
on my mug,
Yes,
on
it's
my
on my mug.
K-cups. Not
Yes, and you'll know them by their telling sign of the skull and crossbones that
It's
tells
so
you
good.
exactly what you're in for. It's that used to be the international symbol for poison, but now it is the symbol for good damn coffee.
It's awesome. Without milk, with milk, you don't really need it because it's strong.
But
It's
not bitter?
Not bitter. So you don't even need milk. You don't even need sugar, but you can add it if you'd like. It's just really, really the perfect, strongest, most awesome coffee.
Become a junkie of Death Wish. DeathWishCoffee.com. Thank you very much.
Enjoy it.
And be sure to get 10% off your order at www.deathwishcoffee.com when you use the code ThatMan. That's one word, conjunctified, all caps. ThatMan for 10% off your orders at deathwishcoffee.com. I want to take this time to mention to you www.audibletrial.com/ThatManOnFatMan. That's right, www.audibletrial.com/ThatManOnFatMan. That's one word, conjunctified. Go there, sign up for your free 30-day free trial. Sign up, get a free book, a free audio book, because you don't have to go through no tedious reading. You don't have to turn no fucking pages. You don't have to do any of that bullshit. You get in your car, you put on your headphones, and you are listening to a book. You're taking a magical journey into a fictitious land. You're expanding your mind, all when you're stuck in traffic. Fucking amazing. Audiobooks. These are the wave of the future. And you can get in for free for 30 days. A free trial. And when you get your free trial, you can download a copy of Tough Shit by our Savior, Kevin Smitth. That's right. Our Lord and Savior, Kevin Smitth, has left words for us to follow in our lives. And we can get it for free just by signing up to audibletrial.com/ThatManOnFatMan. That's right. audibletrial.com/ThatManOnFatMan. Thank you. Please sign up. You'll be very happy you did. I'm so glad, again, that you decided to do this, because
Thank
I
you.
feel like we're more up to date. Plus, now I can ask you this. So as a guy who runs a Star Wars bar, and
Well,
it now
now remember, it's not a Star Wars bar.
Sorry.
Intergalactic
Yes.
Space Cantina.
Okay, so as a guy who runs an intergalactic space cantina.
There you go.
For fans of the movies Star Wars and Star Trek and all these other, but since Star Wars just
Guardians.
dropped a new episode, what was your impression of the latest episode?
What was my personal impression, or what is the bar's?
No.
impression?
What is your?
Am I speaking as an individual, or am I
Speak as
speaking
an individual.
as
Let's
a
get your
bar?
insight.
Yeah. As you.
Your feeling.
As an individual.
Okay, your hesitancy speaks volumes.
So here's what I'm going to say. I'm going to say that as somebody who has studied film in school and storytelling for a long time, I feel as though the internal logic of the movie doesn't add up.
There you go.
To me, when I watch that movie, 2 + 2 doesn't equal 4. 2 + 2 equals camel, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I'm with it. I'm with it.
That
To me,
being said, if
my problem with it is the overriding theme is ambivalence. That in a nutshell. You know what I mean? Like anywhere there should be heart, there seems to be such ambivalence that I don't know what to feel.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. I don't have any real issue with what they were trying to say.
Yeah,
I
me
have
too.
issue with how they said it. And I don't think they successfully sold what they were trying to say, and I think that's why people have a real problem with it. And I think that's why the people who love it look into it so much, and they go, well, all of this is here if you just look into it. And it's like, well, in movies, like, you shouldn't have to go 7 levels deep to understand why Princess Leia changes her mind about Kylo Ren. Like, it should just be in the movie, right? So I will say this, though. I will say this. I actually went to a Q&A with Rian Johnson last night. They screened American Graffiti, and Rian Johnson did a Q&A afterwards.
Wow.
Because it was Independent Film LA had Rian Johnson on, and he picked the movie American Graffiti. And I was on Twitter, and I made the mistake of Rian Johnson's like, come to my Q&A tonight. And the things that people were saying to that human being on Twitter were horrifying. To the point that it was just like, I hope you die. I hope your family dies.
All that stuff is crazy. I mean, I believe we did a show on it, and it's all we talk about the story. You know what I mean? We talk about the story, and from the story level of what worked and what didn't, and why it didn't resonate for me. But one thing I've sort of discovered, it's a raw shot plot, that movie, for some reason. Like, people see all kinds of weird things in it that I was I heard politicians on the right say why it's, some sort of Republican wet dream. I've heard people on the left kind of do the same exact thing. It's so weird.
What the thing is with, here's the thing. To me, Star Wars is more than a movie. It's more than a movie, and it's more important than just a movie. I understand that, and people can argue it's just a movie, and that's fine. I think it's more. But I do not think that Rian Johnson woke up one morning and he's like, I'm going to fuck up Star Wars. Rian Johnson woke up, and he said, I'm going to give this my all. I'm going to give it the best I got. And
sure he did.
If you want to shit on the movie because you don't like it, that's fine. But don't attack him. Don't go after him.
I agree.
He did his best. He did his best. And that's like going to the kid who lost the Little League World Series.
That's like
and
recently
being like,
with Ralph.
like,
Ralph
hey,
got
kid.
fired, but then people started threatening, the guys over at Kevin and Bean. And, I don't think Ralph wants that either, He doesn't want threats of physical violence or rape or any of that bullshit.
This is a guy who woke up and did his best. He gave it his all. It's very clear in the movie, and I'll put this out there. I don't think J.J. Abrams cared about Force Awakens as much as Rian Johnson cared about Last Jedi. And you can't, look, people fail at things all the time. That's fine.
I don't know about that. I disagree.
That you don't like his... it's okay that you don't like his Star Wars movie. It's not okay for you to be mean to him because he did not succeed in making that movie the way you wanted it to. And that's why, it really changed my mind on the way that I talk about the movie. Because, look, Jurassic World, right? I loved Jurassic World. But if somebody says to me, how could you love Jurassic World? That movie is horse shit. I'm like, it is horse shit, but I did love it.
Yeah,
but I recognize
it was a lot of fun in the theater. You know what I mean? It's a fun movie-going experience. Right. But yes, it is horse shit. I agree with you completely there.
But
it can be fun and horse shit at the same time. Sometimes that happens.
Right. And
Army of Darkness, great example.
Right. And I think the people who really like Last Jedi just need to be like, look, there's a lot of really cool ideas that are being explored here, but none of them are explored in a way that are explained in a way that was as good as it could have been. Yeah. Right? Or as clear. Yeah. Or as,
it's like I think really I am surprised that as many people love it as they do, and that's great. But what I think is going to happen is kind of like that I experienced when I saw Dark Knight Rises. That movie did a really cool trick when you're in the theater, but as soon as you get any distance, it falls apart. You know what I mean?
Right.
It just doesn't hold up well. It doesn't deny the really cool experience I had the first time I saw it, but it does kind of become the butt of a lot of jokes after the fact.
Right.
I feel like that's what's going to happen with this movie. Like, everyone's going to kind of clear their head and be like, oh, there's a lot of problems here. Because there's a lot of story problems there. You know, I don't know why we had to fucking Iron Man 3 the ending still. You know what I mean? Like, he's not here.
Yeah.
I don't know. You know, I still don't get, again, it goes back to ambivalence. The emotional ambivalence of why Luke attacked his nephew, to me, just rang so hollow. The only way it makes sense is if you would put a bottle of bourbon in his hand. You know what I mean? He woke up drunk and was like, I'm killing my kid. Why? You know, then it resonates a little more true. But, like, it just felt so, even that felt ambivalent. I never felt like, this feels right. It never felt right.
It didn't land. Nothing really landed. Nothing got as much time as it needed
and the other,
to really be like, oh my gosh, I understand.
The other sort of ambivalence was like when Kylo Ren goes to kill Princess Leia, like he's going to do it, then he doesn't. But then the guys next to it do it. But then she doesn't die. She forced like fucking spacewalks.
Mary Poppins.
Yeah, and so that all felt like, well, what was the point here? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That he doesn't.
Well, I mean,
it just all felt so emotionally ambivalent. So that was my problem. That was my problem.
I've already done like 4 podcasts talking about this movie, and they're all 2 hours long.
Yeah,
so
let's not take up.
I'm not
me too.
I'm not going to keep going after it because it is obviously. Look, here's the thing.
I think we're on the same page.
Is
really where we're at.
If you love it, good. If you don't love it, that's fine too. It's okay for there to be a Star Wars movie that isn't really good. That's okay.
And I don't want to.
And it's okay. If there is a Star Wars movie that isn't really that good, that you love still. Look,
hey, listen, I said,
The Battle for Endor, and that's a crap movie. I love Attack of the Clones, and that's a crap movie.
Ooh, wow, you are going out there then. Okay.
Like,
yeah, that's probably the least. That's like the bottom of the list, I think, for most people is Attack of the Clones. And that was the thing.
Know?
I actually even said on our, like, we did a Christmas Star Wars episode, and I said, you know, not since Attack of the Clones has a Star Wars movie been this tedious. But it didn't have to be, because it has an open road. Attack of the Clones had to fit into, like, an existing mythology. So, like, if anything, I'll give it points for that. You know what I mean? Like, okay. But here's what I'll say. I love Star Wars, so I'm glad people love this movie. I'm glad people are happy with it. Even if I'm not, I want them to keep making Star Wars movies. So
look, I worked on Tusk. I was on the set of Tusk every day.
Woo-hoo.
I drove to the set of Tusk with Kevin and Jason, and I drove home with them every single day. And not a day went by where everybody who was on that set didn't do the absolute best. Now, there are things that become very clear after, and with yoga hosters, and there are things that become clear after a movie's made, but then you're out of time and money.
Yep.
And then there are things that become that you don't see because of your emotional connection to when that movie was getting made, right? You don't see some of those things.
Yeah.
And so to make a great movie is almost impossible. To make a great movie under extreme pressure is also even more than impossible.
Right.
So, like, you know what? As long as somebody puts an effort in, as long as they give it their all, like Star Wars is important, I'm going to give it my all. I don't have to like this one. Hopefully, I'll like the next one.
Yeah,
and
that's
it's
like
fine.
my feeling.
It's not
Please
like
let
we're gonna
JJ
run
fix
out of
these
Star
things.
Wars. Well,
please let JJ fix it.
I mean, part of
the
problem, I think, is what JJ left behind after episode 7 that they were going to try to fix, and then they were just like, we can't explain this fucking lightsaber no matter what we do. It's a stupid idea, so let's just not talk about it. So,
and
you
they
know
did.
what I mean?
See, I didn't mind that.
I
I didn't necessarily mind that. There were other things, though, that I did sort of like, I didn't get. But here's what I'll say now. If I were them, I mean, this is great. They have set up a great, if they go in the third one, Kylo Ren solidifies his fucking power as Emperor Sith dude. You know what I mean? Like if at the end of this third chapter, Kylo Ren is the badass motherfucker of the galaxy, and maybe we cut his face so he's back in a mask, you know, like almost like he has to wear it now. He has no choice. Maybe that would be a nice character arc of like...
I mean, I love Kylo. I don't like Force Awakens. I don't really care for Last Jedi either. However, I think Kylo Ren is the one character that they've really, really done right. And you can, some people hate him because he's emo and whatever, but he's a Skywalker kid. He's a Skywalker kid who have the most famous parents in the world, and he's never going to be able to live up to them. So, of course, he's going to be emo. And, of course, he's going to be whiny, just like Anakin was and just like Luke was when they were that age. Like, he makes sense to me. He's interesting. You watch Kylo Ren struggle with the choice between to be bad and good. And you watch him. He can kill his dad, but he can't kill his mom. That's an interesting thing. Like that, I hope they explore in episode 9. Why was he able to kill Han, but he couldn't kill Leia?
Yeah.
Like what happened with him and Leia that made it so that he couldn't pull that trigger when he needed to? You know, and that's why that's why to me, Kylo Ren is triumph, because he's nuanced and interesting, and they put him in situations in which he has to make difficult choices, right? And every choice he makes informs his character a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, he's
Absolutely.
not fully evil. He couldn't kill his mom. If he was fully evil, he would have killed his mom. So he's not fully evil.
He's only half evil because he only killed his dad.
He only did his dad,
Right.
Jabbed the lightsaber right through his fucking chest, but that's okay.
Maybe Han Solo didn't give him the Falcon when he turned 16, or maybe he got him like the old model instead of the XP-38.
I would love for at the end of this next episode that we see Kylo Ren as fucking essentially new Darth Vader, but unlike Darth Vader, he's now sort of quasi-emperor, you know, the leader of the First Order, or whatever the fuck that is. So, therefore...
let's not get into that.
I mean, it's just that a lot of that becomes a little weird. One thing I did like, though, is his relationship with the fucking, like, his human counterpart, or his Muggle counterpart. You know who I'm talking about? The blonde
Hux?
guy. Yeah, Hux.
Domhnall Gleeson. Yeah.
Yes. I did like that relationship. I mean, we won't even go into Snoke because we don't have time. But
and there's nothing to go into.
about-
It was just like, oops, Snoke was a mistake. Let's get him out of the movie as soon as we can.
But that was utterly. Oh my God, that whole. But you can't do that. You can't set that guy. And here's another thing. You know what would have been awesome? And I went into this, and this is why it's disappointing. No one read my mind. If Snoke had been the size of Yoda, that would have been awesome.
That's what I was expecting too. That's what I totally was expecting.
Like fucking big man syndrome, because he projected himself in that huge, like fucking Abraham Lincoln. If he had been about the size of Yoda, then it would have been like, this guy's got fucking little man syndrome. That's why he's so pissed off. And then at least I would have had something. But I got nothing.
Yeah, I agree.
I got the guy.
agree.
I got fucking, what do you call it? We got Steppenwolf, essentially. You know, and
right.
So that was such a disappointment, and so much hinged on that too. That was another problem in the movie. I remember I did like, we've all been in the scene, we've all been being yelled at, and it was great to have like someone get cut in half, because like we've all been there and wanted to do that, so it was great to see. but it just didn't make any sense in the terms of the bad guy. Anyway.
Yeah. I mean, look, if we had 5 hours, we could go through all of the things wrong with that movie that didn't make sense.
And that to me, that's a big one. But, I hear you setting up your bar there, and I don't want to stand in the way of, like, doing shit.
I am.
So let us get out of here. Right. Thank you so much for coming on again. We'd love to have you on when you're not so busy. Now that you've been sort of introduced.
Let's talk, maybe we'll talk in... February, we can talk about some Black Panther stuff.
That would be great. I love that.
Awesome. Yeah. Be awesome. Well, tell us quickly
how Comic Book Men went and all of that stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, so quickly, once again, give us everything you'd like to plug really fast in the next month or so.
Scum and Villainy Cantina is on Facebook. We're pretty active on Facebook, so facebook.com/Scum and Villainy Cantina. If you want to reach out to me directly and tell me that I'm an asshole because Last Jedi is awesome, that's fine. You can do that on Twitter, which is just at Reifenberg. You can come into the bar. I'm here often, and we can talk about it in person.
That's right, on Hollywood Boulevard.
Which is on Hollywood Boulevard in Cahuenga, right down the street from the famous Grauman's Chinese Theater.
So cool.
What a locale.
And, I mean, I don't know. Like, look, I hate talking bad about movies. I've spent a lot of time with Kevin, and Kevin says that all the time. But I think it's
okay to talk about problems.
It a genuine effort. If somebody gives it a genuine effort, it's like, it's okay that you don't like it, but like, and it's okay to talk about what's wrong with it, but it's also just like, be nice.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Be respectful.
Agree wholeheartedly. And
that's
we're Kevin fans, so we know how to kind of do that.
Yeah. There's a way to say things and not be mean.
But at the same time, to me, like any criticisms I make, I always try and have a valid reason. And like,
right.
Here's what I didn't like, here's why. And, here's what I think they could have done possibly to fix that. Not that it matters, but, I take a Mark Bernardin approach.
I'll leave on a real positive note.
Okay.
I think The Last Jedi had one of the best scenes of any Star Wars movie in it ever.
Which one?
And that is the scene when Luke walks on the Millennium Falcon and he goes, R2-D2, I will never leave this island. There's nothing you can do that will make me leave this island.
Okay.
And R2 shows the hologram of Princess Leia.
All right. Everybody,
I love that.
we all shed a tear. That was moving.
But here's, in that moment, that is the moment in any Star Wars movie where every single person in the audience can immediately identify and emotionally feel the exact same way as the character who's on screen.
Yes.
I promise you, Luke Skywalker, if he was real, his emotions in that scene would be exactly what ours were.
Yeah, you're right.
So they're playing. R2-D2 is playing on our nostalgia the same way he is playing on Luke's nostalgia, and that's brilliant.
And we just all remembered that R2 was still in the movie.
Right.
I love R2.
You got him his 3 seconds before BB-8 saves the day again.
I know. R2.
They needed Clapper from Rebels. That's all I'm saying.
Chopper.
Sorry. Did I say Clapper?
Clapper.
I'm thinking of Clapper.
By the way, guys, if you're not watching Rebels, Rebels is everything that you've ever wanted to see.
Rebels is a great show because I love what they do. Like they retrofit toys into like basically canon and stuff, like the old troop transport and stuff, and the Star Tours ride is essentially now in canon because of the first episode.
Yep.
You guys are like
I'll tell you what, Dave Filoni, who did Clone Wars and who does Rebels, is, as far as I'm concerned, the closest thing to George Lucas's Star Wars ideas that we will ever see. And he's amazing and just a wizard of a storyteller, working within constraints that nobody in the cinematic world has.
Oh, yeah.
Meaning when Clone Wars was taken off the air, they were basically like, sell some lightsaber toys and do this thing with a bunch of Jedi in between episode 3 and 4. And he's like, well, there are no Jedi between 3 and 4, right? That's the whole point of episode 3 and episode 4. And he found a way to make it work.
Yes.
They literally put him in like a Kobayashi Maru. There's a Star Trek reference for you. And he won. They put him in a situation where you cannot win, and he won.
I love the
I love that guy.
Talaxian. I love the Talaxian, too, because she's the most well-adjusted character in all of Star Wars. All right. Well, thank you, sir, for having us on, for coming back on again. I can't even talk anymore. And we appreciate you coming on. Are you still there? Did we lose you? Did Skype finally catch up with us?
No, I'm here. Sorry, I'm getting text messages about another event in February.
Awesome.
Ooh.
So,
are you allowed to share about it?
Well, tell Andy we said hi. He does actually know who we are.
Yet. I will. Oh, man. All right, guys. It was fun. Let's try to do it again next month.
We definitely will. That'll be awesome.
Excellent. Have a good night. And have a good
See you later,
time.
man.
See you later. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Take care, man. J.C. Reifenberg, everybody.
Reifenberg.
Reifenberg. I just...
Yes. It's R-E-I-F.
I see it. When I move my mouse, I could see his name. J.C. Reifenberg.
Like fart.
It is on Skype.
Yes, it is. Thank you, sir.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.
Yay. I have to add this. Hang on. Let me add my applause. I know there'll be at least I can edit, you know. They'll be there to edit in. Tight. Here we go.
That
was fun. There you have Mr. J.C. Reifenberg.
J.C. Reifenberg.
Of Scum and Villainy Cantina. J.C. Jesus Christ!
Jesus Christ.
That joke didn't land this time, but it landed the first interview much better. But, oh, well. So much for that. This time it landed like...
I know. It was a flop.
Oh, but oh well. I'm fine. I can take a little every now and then.
Yeah.
We all have our moment of...
Yeah. So. I know. Yeah. You can't always be a yeah. That feeling only comes up.
And you know what that means. It's the end of the show, because here comes all the bad sound effects. In true.
Yeah, but there's other stuff we can talk about.
Like what? Star Wars? And
like the Shooting Clerks premiere in the
I wonder
UK.
if everyone's Star Wars out now, because that was the other thing. Like
there's a lot of Star Wars going on.
Yeah, we did a Star Wars. First we did a Star Wars, our special, back on Christmas. Then we did like another show. But then we introduced Danny, and we got into Star Wars there.
And she added a little light to it, because not everybody liked it. She was the light.
Yeah. And then we had a guy who has a Scum and Villainy Cantina, you know, who runs a place like that, so I couldn't not ask him.
Yeah. And
so now we got 3 installments.
I know.
So, and what I noticed is, like, I'm doing, at this point, it's like a best of. Like, I'm doing my greatest hits. You know what I mean? Like, I've done this now 3 times, so now I'm in my 3rd time. Wow, I have my material rehearsed.
For the Star Wars show.
For this 3rd go-round, so I'm, like, landing all my same jokes.
I know.
You can almost hear, like, hey, I said that thing again. Ha!
Yeah.
Hey, they Iron Man 3'd it. Thank you.
I know, we have to keep it, like, pooping on it over and over again.
Hey, it was very ambivalent. Ooh, So, you got to hear my greatest hits there.
Yeah.
But, I mean, at least you know where I stand. And I've never been disrespectful of it. Again, I like the movie. I liked it more than it sounds. I liked it now.
Yeah.
But because it's Star Wars. And, you know, hey, I'd rather be watching a Star Wars movie than fucking, you know, doing my taxes or any of that kind of shit.
Yeah.
I was... After the first one started out with so much hope, this one really kicked me in the balls. So I didn't think it was as good. I think it shat on the first one in many ways and kind of, like, hobbled the movie that came before it in some ways.
Yeah.
And then I'm just hoping that J.J. Abrams can sort of erase the mistakes made in that second installment. So that's just me. Anyway, I don't know why I'm talking about this again.
Oh, my
Probably because
God.
we had a guy from the Creature Cantina.
Yeah.
The Scum and Villainy bar in Cantina in Hollywood Boulevard, folks.
I know. Isn't that the like amazing place to have a cantina? Like right there.
We gotta fucking.
Yes.
We have to figure out a way to get back out
And
there.
then he says,
maybe in 2018,
in front of the cantina, it's like a no-name person that they don't know. The star.
You want to know some bad news? I've heard.
What?
That has nothing to do with Kevin or anything.
What?
Rick and Morty might not. There might not be any new Rick and Morty until late 2019.
What the fuck?
I know.
That's like December, probably 2019.
Probably more like September. But yeah.
That's like kind of like 2 years from now, pretty much.
Yeah.
Ew.
Even longer
we
gap
have to
than
wait
last time.
that long?
Yeah, even longer gap than between 2 and 3. So.
That means everything comes out in 2019. You know
it also
that.
means in 2019.
Game of Thrones comes
that's
back.
another thing. Yeah.
Everything comes back in 2019. There's other stuff that I can't remember.
Westworld?
Westworld's probably 2019. There's a lot of 2019s. I don't know
Wow.
why they need 2018 to get prepared.
I don't know. I guess because they'll know who's in, by then we'll have had their Democratic wave, we'll have taken back the White House, and we'll have impeached Trump.
Yes.
So I'll be
I'm
good
pretty
by then.
sure Wonder Woman 2 comes out 2018. So we do have something to look forward to.
No, actually. There's a big shakeup over at DC, and there's a new executive. So far, the only film slated is the Aquaman movie.
Really? I wonder
Yeah.
do you know who's doing that?
No.
Okay.
I mean, I know who's involved.
Right.
Oh, no, Shazam 2 is the other one that is still
Okay.
moving forward. So,
I hope
but
Aquaman
I don't
turns
think
out.
Shazam's slated for 2018. I think it's 2019 also.
Right.
So
I hope they do Aquaman right.
they already fucked him up in Justice League.
I know.
I think
I'm sure Justice League is the reason why people got fired.
I'm pretty sure it was Kevin and Mark who were talking about him and were like, what was with this like strange patois? Like, why are you fucking with me, man? He's from Atlantis, an undersea,
he
fucking
isn't-
kingdom that does not have the colloquialisms of
Like,
Earth,
yeah.
of the surface world.
Right.
Another thing I just didn't get.
He would never
And
say that.
It was in the quest of trying to make Aquaman cool. I get it, because so many people think Aquaman is not cool.
Right.
Doesn't matter. It's not true to the character. Made no sense. Anyways, I leave you on that bad note. Fuck
Yeah.
Aquaman!
But, I mean, if shit's happening in D.C., it's probably because of Justice League. No?
Oh, Justice League.
Because it did so poorly.
Yeah, the whole thing was a
Yeah, that's why stuff is shifting over there. I'm sure
yeah,
people
and
got fired.
The guy they put in charge is not like a superhero guy either.
No,
so
why do
it's
they-
like, what are they
Yeah,
doing?
they
It's the
need
guy who had some hits with It.
Yeah.
It's so fucking Hollywood studio.
Okay, I know. They're not bringing in the people that are the that really know the stories.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully it'll get done.
I will say this:
the right way.
watching what exists of the post. So you would have to start with Man of Steel.
Mhm.
If you watch all the Man of Steel so it would be Man of Steel, then Suicide Squad, then was it Wonder Woman next?
Oh
Yeah,
my
then
God.
Wonder Woman.
Really?
I think. Well, essentially, if you watch all the new DC movies sort of in order
Yeah.
that they were put out, it is an interesting pastiche of superhero stuff. It's an interesting watch in terms of the whole picture.
Yeah.
Because it's no DC universe I've ever seen. It's a very dark DC universe, but there is something very interesting about it when looking at it broadly,
Right.
like this broad universe.
But even when you do, if you were to isn't DC is usually darker though, isn't it?
No. Batman is dark. Superman is light. That's been the problem with the whole fucking thing.
Right.
Zack Snyder is oblivious to that. He doesn't know light. He's Mr. Dark. He's always been Mr. Dark.
Right. He puts it all on Batman.
Yeah,
He,
and
makes it all.
so when he made Man of Steel, he made dark
Yeah.
Batman. And what did he do? He didn't follow it up with light Superman fixed. He followed it up with dark Batman versus Superman. And then Justice League fell apart. He had to step away from the project, and they gave it to someone who was a little lighter. And I think that's where you saw the tone lift in Justice League. So it wasn't like maudlin
Right.
and dark and retarded and, just, Sorry for the use of the word retarded. No, I'm not. I love that word.
Well, I mean, it's the way you say it.
Yes.
I mean, it's just.
And I grew up with it, and it was it was a safe word. I could always call my brother.
Right, and
so, only now, with everyone being so fucking squeamish.
Right. And like the kind of people we are, we would never.
If you have a problem with that word, you're fucking retarded. That's all I'm saying.
We're taking it back.
Totes, malotes.
Totes, malotes.
Totes, malotes. So, how can we wrap this up and say goodbye to
I
our
don't
friends?
think there's really anything else.
Yeah, again, quickly, if you're in England, jolly old England, hip hip, you have a chance to go see Shooting Clarks. I'm filmed and I'm in. I play Howard Stern proudly, happily. And I did some, behind the scenes work. My hand makes it on screen as well during the scene where they're buying.
Oh, yes.
The film. What do you call it? Clerks, where it's Harvey Wiseman, not Weinstein.
Wow.
And his brother.
It's so weird saying his name, right?
I guess Bob Wiseman.
Bob Wiseman.
Yes. Played by none other than the clerk himself.
Yes.
Dante. Also known as Brian O'Halloran, who also I saw had a Family Guide himself.
Oh my God, I know, I saw it.
You can Family Guy yourself right now online.
Oh, I saw yours too. Yours was pretty funny.
Yes. I made sure to put the butt chin on him. But everything is so pronounced, it makes my head look like Joe's head. You know Joe, the guy in the wheelchair?
Joe.
Because he has a double chin too.
Yeah,
it's
Joe's got a huge head.
There's only certain models of structures that you can use. So,
yeah.
Like eventually, I look like a blonde Joe standing with glasses. So there you go. So go Simpsons. Go Simpsons. Oh, sorry. Fuck.
Oh
that
God.
was, man, them fighting words for some people. Go Family Guy yourself.com.
Oh my God, can we Family Guy ourselves like
Yes.
Brian?
Anyone can, yes. Anyone can. There you go. I don't think you can do Brian.
I'm only teasing.
Maybe Shecky could do Brian. Or Lily.
Or Lily. Oh, speaking of Lily, that's a big day for her. Yeah.
Yeah, you're going to clean her today.
You go, girl.
Yes, Jean's going to
Today's
clean.
the day.
Jean's going to clean our 15-year-old dog.
Yeah, I'm just going to trim her up a little bit.
she's
She needs a little
mess.
spa day.
She's like 2 days of fucking. She's
Okay.
like 2 years of fucking.
She's such a sweetie pie.
She's like 2 years of needing grooming.
Yeah, but, I mean, it's, Yeah.
She really needs it.
That's my job today, peeps.
Ooh-ah.
Ooh-ah.
All right, folks.
And Ralph's coming up in the next couple weeks.
Yeah.
The Ralph Report. If you have not signed up, check it out.
You heard last week we talked.
Yeah.
I talked a little bit about sort of getting in trouble with Ralph.
Yeah.
For again, massive lesson, folks. Don't forget those LOLs, those smiley faces. If you make a joke, don't just assume that people think you're making a joke, because it will come back and bite you.
So go to ralphreport.com and you can sign up now, and then you can he's done a few Bachelor.
There's at least 3 15 to 20 minute shows up there.
Yeah.
They're definitely worth the listen.
Yeah,
if you're a Bachelor fan, you're definitely going to love it.
So
I
he's
enjoyed the
done
last
some
one.
teaser ones. So just to kind of,
Yeah, and they're good. They're fun. It was so funny because if you were also Hollywood Babylon people, and we have the video version. What is it?
Babelvision.
Babelvision. Duh. God, my brain's shot now. But they were talking on it. I believe it was there, and they were saying, or maybe it was Kevin talking about it on another show, but it was like Kevin was saying how Ralph was quick to be like, and we can bring in guests, but Kevin was like, dude, it's you. Stop worrying about. They want to hear you. They want to hear what you say. They don't care, about the guests and all that stuff. So, although, hey, I would mind the guest spots too.
Oh yeah, both of them.
You'll find they're great. But the good thing about Ralph's show, and in some respects now, we can do that. We can go a couple of weeks without a guest.
Oh yeah,
because
absolutely.
we know, we've come to the point where we know what's important to our audience. We can cover enough news and enough things going on that we can round out a show. He can do that too, and he doesn't need guests. He's not guest dependent. So, but I've been enjoying the things he put out there. I'm looking forward to more Ralph 5 days a week. I haven't listened to a 5 day a week show in a while.
I know. I don't recall. The last time it's been, geez, maybe like
I've listened.
Howard.
I mean,
No?
yeah. Also, Keith and the Girl.
Oh, Keith and the Girl.
But
Okay, Keith and the
I
Girl.
have to say,
for
my
sure.
my Keith and the Girl listenership waxes and wanes. You know, I'll listen once a week, and then I'll fall off, and then I'll
I
get
think they have
into
another
jive.
show now,
They're always
like
popping.
brand new, like the last.
They're popping shows out like crazy.
They're like they're like the pioneers of
Yeah.
of this. I mean, they've been doing it so long. What, like 14 years now? 15 years?
Yeah,
Something crazy.
recently they invested in Bitcoin on the air and stuff.
Bitcoin going crazy. Like, I don't understand a lot of the Bitcoin craze. Cryptocurrency.
All right,
People are wealthy.
maybe for
on it.
another show. No, they're not.
That's a whole different. That's
The
a
problem
whole
with
different
Bitcoin
show.
is really ultimately it's associated with illegal activity, and that's
Really?
why it's a cryptocurrency. Yeah, because it's used as criminal payment form.
Oh my god!
Yeah, so
people
you can
shouldn't
buy
even-
Coke with a Bitcoin.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the problem. See, therein lies it.
I made a face.
I mean, you
That's
can buy
what he's
Coke with
responding to.
cash too, but
Yeah.
like electronically.
Right. Yeah, I don't think you should be buying that electronically like that. Yeah. It's probably not a good idea.
Another problem with Bitcoin I see is like Bitcoin is kind of like gold in that you buy a Bitcoin and it's like a $1,500 item.
Right.
It's like buying an ounce of gold. Now I have this ounce of gold. Yes, I have an ounce of gold, but I have to sell it to get the money to spend. You know, that kind of thing. So there you go. Just me thinking out of the box here. None of this has anything to do with anything. But I know one thing. If you listened this week, it's a good chance you're smart and you're good.
Almost definitely.
Yeah. And if no one else has told you that, we're going to tell you you're smart and you're good. Which is, I realized, should be on our fucking sticker.
Oh my god, we don't have. Yeah.
Next batch will have smart and good on there.
Yeah. So check out ThatManOnFatman.com. Order stickers, and I get them out as quickly as possible within the week. So check them out, and
Yeah, and get your limited edition sticker without your smart and good on it.
yes, these are limited edition.
Yeah, these will be limited edition, and you can get them at the face value. If you go over to Etsy.com/ThatMan on
Yes.
Fatman. So. All right,
Thanks,
folks.
guys.
We
Thanks for your
appreciate you listening. You're smart and you're good.
Yes. Thanks for your support.
And we'll catch you next week.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye. As we round out the rest of season 4, which is almost over.
Season 4. Then we go into season 5. The
Yeah,
whole
so-
hand. The whole hand.
The whole hand. It's so weird with seasons because technically it'll only really be like it's not our 5th year. We haven't been around 5 years. We've been around 4 years.
Yeah.
But we're starting our 5th season.
Yeah.
Because we never had a 0 season.
Right.
See, if we did it right.
Yeah, but don't overthink it. It
All
sounds
right.
good. Just like that.
All right. Catch you next week, folks.
Bye, guys.
Lying on the barren floor and staring out in space, looking for an angel smile and praying for some faith. Thoughts are drifting through my mind and filling it with fear. Is there something else out there, and just why are we here? Then I see the world will turn and we must be its guide. Crazy dreams and nonsense schemes, dawn comes we must reply. Powers from our mother earth, they'll blow us to our knees. While our souls do bind as one, come join us if you please, if you please. Reading moments one by one and smirking like a thief. Sleeping through another night and deepening our peace. Genesis and matter's wake is coming from our sun. Living in this very moment, for this moment's done. But now I see the dawn will come and we are all its guide. Crazy dreams and nonsense schemes, the Godhead earth is all we'll ever be. All our souls to bind as one. Come join us if you please, if you please. Join another person's eyes, we worship at our shrine. Bursting flowers into bloom, there's no such thing as time. Powers from our mother earth will blow us to our knees. Twisting, turning, minds are burning, join us if you please. And now I see that I am just beginning its demise. Flashing bits of comic light that vanish from the skies. Powers from our mother earth is all we'll ever be. All our souls to bind as one. Come join us if you please. If you please. If you please. If you please.
There he is. It's that man standing over Blood Alley Square, protecting us all. Go get him, that man.